photo, Warner Brothers. Well, looks like we're getting a new Gremlins movie reboot. Big surprise. Hollywood is obsessed with revisiting the blockbusters of the 70s and 80s. These movies are arguably the first wave of major widespread cultural hits, and it's easy to score a quick few bucks by throwing together a film that recycles characters and events from decades past. With a lot of these films, the big challenge that movie studios face is figuring out whether they should make a sequel or a reboot. Ghostbusters was a reboot, but many commenters wished that it had been a sequel. The Force Awakens was a sequel, but it played out pretty much like a remake with a new protagonist, Rocky Balboa. So the question with the inevitable Gremlins remake is, should the story follow the decades-old continuity of the original movies? Or should we have something different? Source: Warner Bros. Apparently, the decision has been made to turn this new film into a fresh start for the series, and I can see the merit in this. After all, Gremlins may hold its special place in many people's hearts, but it's hardly a franchise that's weathered the years with any degree of notoriety. Gizmo is a vaguely relevant character, sure enough to score a LEGO Dimensions figure and a cameo in Ready Player One. That said, ask the majority of kids today who Gizmo is, and they won't have a clue. So it's safe to say that the major audience for a new Gremlins movie probably won't remember the events of the original film with any clarity. This isn't a Mary Poppins Returns scenario where kids and adults alike have the plot of the first movie etched onto their brains. It makes sense, then, to take a clean break, reintroduce this world, and remove the trappings of existing canon. Nobody wants another Terminator Genesis, a film overburdened by its own convoluted lore. Source: Sony Pictures. The problem with this is that we'll probably end up with another RoboCop instead. The dangers of rebooting dark movies. Remember how, when rebooting RoboCop, the decision was made to soften the entire story to make it more kid-friendly? We ended up with a tame PG-13 instead of a hard R-rated movie, and a lot of the wit and flavor of the original films were lost in the transition. Not to mention, some bright spark decided that RoboCop ought to be painted black. No thank you. I can see the same thing happening with Gremlins. The first movie in particular is really dark. Dead Santa dark. It'd be understandable if movie executives figured that this bleak tone probably doesn't fit a modern kids film. Suddenly, boom, instead of an authentic Gremlins movie, we get a tame, fluffy Tim Burton-alike. Vaguely scary at times, but only if you're under the age of 7. What we need, instead, is more of Steven Spielberg back when he was young and angry. Or, well, young anyway. Spielberg doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's ever been angry. Either way, though, it's been a long time since Poltergeist. Since Jaws. Since movies could be horrifying while also being kinda fun and quirky. Here's hoping that, in the rush to streamline the Gremlins experience, the new movie doesn't lose its bite. Except, of course, for the occasional scene when a gremlin sexually harasses someone. Those moments can go burn in a fire. More culture film movies. Nostalgic Gremlins reboot. RoboCop.